the best sporting show in the whole of the universe is still Newsinstanta Sport, of course, and on that radio scope on our YouTube channel, or Facebook, and anywhere else that you can think of. We're everywhere. We're global now. So we're everywhere. And my name is Ladija Adeboali, and today I'm with the one and only Oracle Coach.
Always a pleasure, sports fans, to be here. Really happy to be sitting here with the sports maestro, Debo. Thanks for having me. Congratulations. Finally, the bow has been broken for Hurricane.
Oh my
What
God.
does this signify for the British, for the English national team? Your captain now knows how to win trophies. Should we expect something different? And my Lakers, oh Lakers, what has become of thee? All this to dissect the
We have a whole
commission.
lot to talk about, and of course, if you're not a basketball fan, maybe you should just tune out for a little bit because we'll be talking about basketball for the next maybe 25, maybe 30 minutes, and football will take little bits off our time today. Kachi, we
Yeah.
start off with the Lakers, and the series is over. We know who the winners are and who the losers are. Number one for me will be JJ. Is the biggest loser in this one. 50 wins in the regular season. When the Lakers were coming from, how we brought them in the regular seasons. In the regular season, we were expecting more during the playoff series, and of course, another loser would definitely be LeBron James. It's as he has his eyes set on winning one more championship. He's
Hmm.
not getting any younger. We don't expect anything of him. Personally, I don't expect anything of the 40-year-old guy. He's punching way above his weight class for me personally. And of course, the third loser definitely will be Luka Doncic. He has not shown us he is ready to be the captain of the ship, as far as I'm concerned. And of course, the biggest winner is Antonio Edwards. Everybody wants to make him the face of the league,
Hmm.
and he came up. He stood his ground, show who he is. Like the guy shot 320 threes, made threes in the regular season, and he kept it up throughout the entire series over the course of the 5 games.
Hmm.
43 points, I think, in the last game. I showed class, and of course, the most malign defensive player of the year ever, Rudy Gobert, brought his A game as well. And of course, you
Hmm.
have to look at the pieces as well. Players like Nasrid and the rest of it.
Hmm.
Where exactly did you think the Lakers got it wrong?
Debo, thanks. I think they got it wrong in a couple of ways. First, you always have to, and the buck must always lie with the guy who calls the shot. And in this case, I'll say JJ Reddick. First, from playing and not playing his starting five all through the fourth quarter of game 4, and not even subbing in any of his guys to give them any breather, I think was
A rookie mistake.
it totally was a rookie mistake. I think that's the best way to put it. And secondly, um, pretty much how we managed when the Lakers had slender leads, you know. But I can understand why he did it. I just don't think it was the right approach. Because when you look at the plus or minus when LeBron is off the bench, off the
Of the
court,
court.
I think the Lakers are like minus 15 every time LeBron is sitting down, and they're like +6 or +7 when he's on the
On the
court.
court.
So I think he hedged his bet by saying, okay, we have a 1 point lead. LeBron can get me some points, even if those guys make some baskets, rather than put more physical bodies, Vanderbilt, Maxine Hayes, and all those guys to protect that paint. Because ultimately, what really happened in this series was not an attack of the paint. It was who could stop Anthony Edwards from picking his spots and making his
Yeah,
shots
yeah.
right now.
That was
Nobody
crazy.
is as fleet-footed on that Lakers team right now.
Same,
I
yeah.
think the person, if that person was fit, the closest who was cerebral enough to know, okay, this is where Anthony might be, would have been Luca. But we know Luca likes to drink two cans of beer at the end of each game. So he was lacking the fitness. So and that's to blame JJ. But this is one thing JJ has shown from this 82 game sample, or let's say 87 game sample size of
Mm-hmm.
one season that we have. He learns from his mistake. He has shown that he is a good coach and belongs in the league.
Yeah.
I think the fact that he doesn't have the experience at coaching at this level, we saw it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the next person, and I really don't think, because for me, every time people call LeBron James, as an MJ fan, I'm always like, every time I hear this, maybe LeBron, maybe he really is the GOAT. Because when MJ was 40, whenever he had a 20-point game,
He
it was as if
celebrated.
he had won the championship. But now you are expecting someone of his own age playing with much faster guys to go win a championship. So what experience has shown me is the better player or the better person is the one whose standard is the highest.
Mm,
Whoever you need to reduce your standard for or lower your standard for can definitely not be
not
the
being
best to have
the
ever
best.
done it.
Yeah.
So now LeBron had some costly turnovers, especially in game four. I thought he should have been a game manager rather than trying to close that game. Case in point, the turnover when he was trying to make that pass, outbound pass to
Yeah.
Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
But he gave his all. This is someone who had already said, I want to give my team or hand over the reins of this team to Luka. Luka appears not to be ready
No, it's not.
for that role. Now, will he be suited for it? Yes. But I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again. Luka reminds me of the 1992,
Brazil. Right.
1994, 19, which the Brazil team that never won the World Cup, the 1982
82
Brazil
Brazil
side,
of Zico.
the
Yeah.
1982 of Socrates and the
Socrates. Yeah.
likes,
Yeah.
they never had a defense. They just knew that they would score more than you scored
Yeah. Yeah.
until they met a Paolo Rossi in Italy who
Yeah.
just never stopped scoring, and then
Yeah.
the Italian Catenaccio closed them up. Now, enough of the football analogy. My point really is that right now, the lack of a physical presence
It's a
also
big.
played a part in this. Everybody knew, everybody, even the most hated hater in Stephen A. Smith knew that Anthony Edwards would average 30 to 35 points this series. The question we asked ourselves was,
Who's going
the
to show
other
them?
guys, will they come up? Will they complement him? And oh boy, did they complement him. Now, while the bench of the Wolves were chipping in 25 to 35 points per game,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Lakers bench in games 3, games 4, and games 5 averaged only 12 points. So this game was not won by the starting five, it was won by the remaining 7 players on
Seven
the
players on
bench.
the
The
bench.
Lakers lacked depth, they lacked a physical presence in the post. That was why Rudy Gobert
Yeah.
could go for
Yeah.
almost 30 points in game 5.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert
One
went
more
for
people.
almost 30 points in game 5. I need everybody to hear it again. Rudy Gobert went for almost 30 points in the closeout game simply because there was no one to keep him honest.
Very much.
Nobody in the Wolves team was in foul trouble all throughout the series
Yeah.
because they out physical the Lakers, they out muscle the Lakers, and they unfortunately, it's right to say, they out taught the Lakers. They deserve to go through, but I don't think
Yeah,
it is
so
time to
that,
crown
that
them
brings that,
champions yet.
that brings that brings to the next question. We're talking about it before the show started, and we're talking about Giannis. Giannis definitely will leave the box.
Mhm.
He definitely will leave the box. It feels, and I agree with him. His talent and what he brings to the table
Being
is
wasted right
much.
now.
Is being wasted right now. And needs to leave. And I'm looking at. I have two options for Giannis. Either
Mhm.
Giannis goes to the Lakers or he goes to
Mhm.
the Golden State Warriors.
Mhm.
Which one would you think is going to be perfect for him, and why?
Okay. Okay. Perfect or more likely?
More likely, both.
Okay. All right. The perfect scenario for him, I think, will be the Lakers. The more likely scenario, I also think, will be the Lakers. And I say this for two main reasons. Now, Giannis has always said, and before I even go there, I need to
Okay.
also echo that sentiment that the last 3 years since Giannis won the championship has been wasted by the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
biggest mistake they did was thinking that Bobby
Drew
Portis
Holiday
was more important
and Drew
than Drew
Holiday.
Holiday. You do not trade away a two-way player like Drew Holiday. You don't. Take away Drew Holiday from the Celtics team now, and they are just a decent three
Maybe,
shooting
yeah,
of
shooting,
offensive
yeah,
team with no defensive identity.
yeah,
Drew makes them who they are right
yeah,
now.
yeah,
He
yeah,
was an upgrade for Marcus Smart.
yeah.
Back to the box. I think they wasted those 3 years. The person that Giannis fashions his career after is the great I believe it's Wilt Chamberlain or
It's Wolf,
Karim
yeah.
or
No, it's
yeah,
Wolf. It's
who
Wolf.
won a championship with the Bucks.
He loves Karim is the
Yeah.
ball guy.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was. Yeah. It's Will Chamberlain, but he's following a similar trajectory like Kareem.
yeah,
Won a championship with the
the
Bucks,
ball
but became an evanescent star with the
with the leg.
Lakers right now. The LA Lakers has always been known. Forget what is happening. What has happened the last 5 years. The Lakers has always been known to have a dominating, bruising center and an amazing
Point guard.
PG. You can go from Wilt, you can go to Kareem and Magic, you can go to
Jerry,
Shaq and Kobe,
yeah,
you can go to Steve Nash, even Shaq, Kobe and Pau Gasol when
yeah,
Shaq left. You
yeah,
must always have a center that plays bruising basketball.
yeah,
The
yeah.
current Lakers lack that identity. Now I know that Giannis identifies or calls himself a small forward. I know. But we all know that when it comes to rim protection right now,
Is a
apart
beast.
apart from
AD.
apart from maybe Anthony AD, maybe Rudy,
Rudy Osimhen.
maybe.
Yeah, okay.
But the rim protection that Giannis will give you, you can't. How many dunks do you how do you want to pass that guy? How do you want to pass it? I think we saw that the Lakers
He's a
totally
bruising
missed.
force.
They missed him.
Yeah,
Rudy did not have anyone bruising him or posting him up.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
had enough, and that's what I think the Lakers missed. Now, while I think the Golden State Warriors would be such a good fairy tale like um team for him to go to. I personally, I think style wise, Steve Kerr just knows how to play small ball.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
never had all throughout his
Big,
four
yeah,
championship. He's
yeah.
really never had a center of the caliber of Giannis. He
Mm.
likes yes to have maybe tall 7 foot power forwards who is an enigma in KD,
He
but
got Igadalo, or what's his name again?
Igodalo he's like this compared to
Yeah,
Giannis now.
yeah, exactly.
He
That's what
goes
I'm like.
small
That's
ball.
the biggest I can think of
I
that he
can
had.
maybe KD, a 7 foot who was a power forward. I
Yeah.
can't think of any other person.
Uh-huh.
KD cannot play center for you. He doesn't have the
Yeah.
size. He has the size, but he does
He don't
no.
have the
He
skill
has the
set.
height. He doesn't have the build. He
Yeah.
can't play that position.
Yeah.
That tells me that he wants his ball to move really quick. He wants very mobile, small players, and stylistically, the Golden State Warriors does not work for him. I do think he goes to the Warriors, to the
To the
Lakers.
Lakers.
I was thinking the next best thing would have been New York Knicks, but he wants to win, and New York does not know how to win.
So
That's why I think the Lakers is very
they're not
likely.
going to guarantee you that. Of
Yeah.
course, to another disaster would be the Golden State Warriors blowing a 3-1 lead.
Hmm.
It's a disaster if you ask me, and I don't care what anybody wants to say. Jimmy's
Okay.
back. We should
Can
not
I
be
put
seeing
before you
this
ask your
against.
question? Before you ask your question,
Yeah,
can I put you on the spot? I
sure.
know you are the host. Which would be a bigger disaster? Or the Golden State Warriors blowing a 3-1 lead, or the LA Clippers doing LA Clippers things?
I think it's the Golden Warriors definitely. The Clippers gave themselves a
A
chance.
shot,
They
right?
gave themselves a shot against Denver. This is going to be a disaster. Playing a 3-1 lead. I hope and I really hope that they win tonight. And that is the honest truth. I
Mhm,
hope they win tonight because it will be a disaster against Houston Rockets for crying out
mhm.
loud. Come on.
Debo, this is what I would say. The Houston Rockets are the second seeded team
Yeah, they
in
are, but we've
in the
seen Utah
Western
Jazz be.
Conference,
Yeah, we've seen Utah
which
Jazz be the
means
second. Second. It
they
does not mean
it
that was
it
the regular season. This
yeah
is playoff Jimmy. This
yeah.
is four-time or three-time winning, four-time championship
Mm-hmm,
winning
mm-hmm.
Steve Kerr.
Roster.
and
hmm
and Steph Curry himself. Come
hmm
on,
hmm
you
Okay,
can't
so
do that, man.
the game seven is in Houston tonight.
Yeah,
We'll probably our listeners will provide an update on our social media pages. Please be on the lookout for it. We will let you know who the winners are and what our thoughts are on this. I do have to say this, however, that when we previewed this series 2 weeks ago, what we agreed on was that the Houston Rockets will make this a physical game.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the days they went outside of their identity, we
It
talked
was,
about it here.
yeah.
They
We did.
started trying
Yeah,
to prove a point
yeah,
rather than just play your bruising basketball. Don't
yeah,
care, don't worry yourself with who is holding the ball. Just play your brutal defense. And immediately they went back to their identity. Ime Udoka said it that we don't want an immediate fix. We want to know what we are made of using this playoff series, that we want these guys to let me know, prove to me that you
yeah,
belong to play in the game. And that
yeah.
is what we are seeing. We are seeing Dillon Brooks being his most wicked best,
Monster self.
his most wicked best, provoking Draymond
Very,
Green,
very, yeah.
who keeps falling and getting
But that
flagrant
contract.
fouls,
Yeah.
getting technicals everywhere. I do think, I think the road ends tonight for the Golden State Warriors.
Come on.
I'm sorry.
I hope not,
As
man. I
and the
hope
reason
not.
I'm saying this is that this is why I'm saying this. It is a bit selfish, but if all the old heads are sitting at home right now, it is only right that
Oh
another
my
old
God.
head
Come
in Steph
on.
Curry. You have to go to Cancun with these guys. They are
I didn't
waiting for
expect you
you.
to say that.
Chris Paul is waiting. Anthony Davis has stayed there. KD
It
is
is
there.
gone.
LeBron has gone now. Why is Steph Curry still playing?
It's
Go
also
and join the
gone.
Banana Boat crew and have a great summer. I think it will be a close game. I think Jimmy has not fully recovered. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
Steph Curry's thumb is still not at 100%. Yes, they
yeah.
may tape it, but it is Dillon Brooks we're talking about. He's going to jam that thumb.
Jam that up again.
So I think it's going to be very physical. I think it will be a 3 to 7 points game, but I think the Rockets will make it count when it
Okay,
matters.
all right. Quickly. The Clippers did the Clippers against the Denver Nuggets. The
Ay,
Nuggets.
ay, ay.
I know that court, that stadium is crazy. I love the energy of their fans. Probably the best fans that personally I know in the NBA apart from the Boston Celtics.
The Celtics, yeah.
Apart from the Celtics, that
hmm
they are the like the energy. They feed the team with that energy. Because in the first half, it was a close game. At the point, the Clippers were leading. Okay, maybe it's gonna. And I went to the kitchen and I came back out. 30-point lead. What the
hmm
hell? I was just like, I ain't watching this no more, man.
Yeah, I turned it off. I turned it off at the start of the third quarter.
This is game over, you know.
As soon as they went on that 12-0 run, and the point blew to a 20-point gap, I just turned and I started watching the hockey playoffs.
It was really really sad. The Cavs versus the Pacers. It's going to be an interesting one. Who do you think is
Mhm.
going to take the series? And in how many
Um,
games?
so I definitely think the Cavs. I think the Cavs are gearing up. I said this before, even though only right now I'm only with the opportunity of making half of my prediction. I know all our listeners from our Newsinstanta group, they said my oracleness has faded away. The shots were taken. I hear you guys, but you guys are not the ones holding the mic. I have the mic today. I'm going to say this. I still say that the Cavs will represent the East in the NBA Finals. I don't think they coast through as they won't sweep the
The
Pacers,
Pacers.
but I
Yeah, they
do
did
think this ends in 6 games.
in 6 games. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's 6 or 7 games as well. I
I
think
think
six
it
or
ends
seven.
in six. Yeah,
And the Celtics versus the Knicks. Knicks were lucky to be in this position.
yeah,
Trust me, they are lucky to be in this position.
yeah.
The win against the Detroit Pistons, you see that like, oh, the one against, but it was like a point win, 2 points win throughout the
hmm
series.
hmm hmm
I don't think they can. go with that same attitude against the Celtic and would not be there in
Absolutely,
trouble.
they were. Absolutely, they lost the entire regular season series against the
Against the
Celtics.
Celtic,
I
yeah.
think they went 0-3
Yeah,
against
oh,
the two teams.
yeah,
0-4, I think,
yeah,
against
against
the
the Celtic.
Celtics, and they went 0-4 against
The
the
Cavs.
Celtics, and the Nets. I
Okay.
think beat them all through. So they have no bragging rights in New York. Now, that series was very funny because that series, the home team finished 1-5. The
Mm,
home team only won all the games that each team won. Only once did the home
wow,
team win their home game, and that was game one in that series.
wow.
Every other thing was done away from home.
Away from home.
So what it tells me is the Knicks travel well. The pressure of playing in MSG, I think, gets
It's a
to
different
them.
ball game. Yeah.
I think it gets to them, and that's why I think this series ends in 6 games. I think they are going to play well in Boston. I don't think so. Jalen Brunson. The reason why I like Jalen Brunson, that guy,
That guy is
I
crazy.
love him because he's not attacking the paint.
Yeah,
He's small.
yeah,
He gets his points from his mid range is above average.
yeah,
His 3 point
yeah.
shooting is elite.
Quality, yeah.
And he's a joy to watch. Now he has the mentality. I do not think Kat has that mentality. For me, the dogs in that team are Jalen Brunson and
Josh
OG
Hart.
Anunobi.
Okay.
Those are my two. Josh
Oh,
Hart.
I know you like OG. Anyways,
Oh, OG is my boy.
OG is a wonderful player.
OG, I'm a fan of
I
OG.
can't
I'm
even argue about that.
I'm
OG is
selfish about OG, but he backs up this hype with his
with his
defensive
quality.
minded.
Yeah,
I think the Celtics have too much because they're going to live and die by the
by the
three,
three again.
but they have someone that can go full court with Jalen Brunson in Drew Holiday. Um,
Hmm.
Kristaps Porzingis will get his own points.
Yeah,
He's going to give Kat his own business. Look out for Kat and Porzingis
Porzingis,
getting into foul trouble throughout the course of this series. And I think that's really what's going to count at the end of the day. Which center is going to still be on 2 or 3 fouls going into the fourth
going to
quarter?
the fourth quarter.
Because if you are down to 4 fouls into the last 12 minutes of the quarter, they
That's
definitely will have to sit you out. And if
yeah.
they sit you out, whichever
It's
team has their center on
it's
will
game
go
over.
on a
It's game
crazy run.
over them. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And another interesting one will be OKC and the Denver.
Woo!
This is this is
Woo!
I don't know what's gonna happen. I
That should
think
be the Western Conference final right there,
I
dog.
swear to
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
this is in 7 games, anyways.
I
It's in 7 games.
listen. Even if it should not go to 7 games, I want it to go to 7 games.
It's
I
going
need
to
to
seven
see these
games.
two teams battle it until they cannot be separated.
Yeah,
They 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 counter each other so very
so
well.
well, so
If
well.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got
Aaron
you.
Gordon is a more physical center than
Uh-huh.
Chet Holmgren is,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
SGA is better than Jamel Murray
One
and
of them is
anybody you can put together.
yeah.
Now you have to say that the best player in this series is definitely Nikola.
Nico, of course. He's the best
However,
player in the world.
he's the best player in the series,
In
right?
the world. In the world.
But I think Russell Westbrook is going to cost the Nuggets down the stretch with his turnovers. They
Yeah.
are very cerebral, very young, very athletic. They don't know what it means, what it feels to lose. So they are just going all out to play. They are
Oh,
enjoying their basketball. They all complement each other. We saw Nicola finally come to life in the third quarter of Game 7 over the weekend against the Clippers. They can't let the game go far from them. This is not like the Clippers. A 5-7 point lead with this OKC, they may not be able to recover
yeah,
it. So they need the Denver
exactly.
Nuggets needs to keep this series close or needs to keep each game close. They
Close.
need to
That's
make their
the
home
problem.
game count.
Yeah.
But let's not forget that this time last year, they had a 20-point lead in game 7 playing in Denver
Yeah.
against the Dallas Mavericks. 20-point lead in game 7 in the third quarter. The Luka Doncic masterminded a historic comeback.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
No point is really, no lead is really safe in the
Comfortable,
playoffs.
yeah. Yeah, it's
But
not
I do think
definitely.
I think OKC reminds me of Cleveland, of this Mitchell's Cleveland.
Hmm.
If they get into a double-digit lead, I think it's
It's
over.
game over. Yeah.
Whichever game it is, don't let OKC get double-digit leads.
All right, perfect. That will be all for basketball. We'll come back and we'll talk about football. We start with the review of the Champions League, the preview of the Champions League, and some interesting take by